Hi, my name is Mark Palmquist. I'm a furniture designer and maker, and I've recently gotten into boat building. I've been reading a lot of books on all the different methods of putting boats together. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about alternatives to using fiberglass and epoxy. The reason I would want to not use it is because I don't want to contaminate my wood studio with fiberglass and epoxy. It would get basically everywhere, and it would stink up the whole building, basically. So having experience building models out of paper mache and realizing that you can use Titebond 3, which is basically waterproof. At least it's waterproof unless you're submerging it, if you're leaving your boat in the water, it's not going to be waterproof. But if you're going out on your boat for 2 or 3 hours, it'll do fine. You can actually seal Titebond 3, and I'll explain to you how to do that in this video. Now, if you use plywood, you still have to waterproof this edge, because the edge of plywood will absorb water, and so you have to seal it, obviously. But instead of using fiberglass and epoxy, which is the standard way of doing it, over what I've discovered works pretty well. Now, some people have used this fiberglass tape. I believe it's called FIBA tape. And I've tried this myself, and I found that when you bend it at 90 degrees, it tends to break. The fibers start to break down, and it loses all of its strength, basically. So I just happen to have this laying around, and I know that you can use this to reinforce joints. And so I thought, well, what if I immerse this in Titebond 3 and basically wrap it around the edge like that, and then coat the outside also with Titebond 3. Now, I know a lot of people might think this is silly, but this sponge right here used to be soft and mushy like this one. But I was rolling glue with it, and then it dried naturally, and it's amazing how tough and sturdy this is. I mean, I can't compress it at all. It's like it's extremely hard. You'd be amazed how hard this is, and this is just glue with a soft, spongy, fibrous material. But when you combine them together, it becomes very strong. So that's what I thought I would try. And it turns out, if you roll the glue along the seam, the plywood seam first, and then you roll also the glue along one side of this tape, and you let it basically tack up for about 5 minutes before you put the tape on, that will allow some of the water to evaporate, and it'll get more tacky, and it'll reduce the chances of bubbles forming, because when paper gets wet, it expands, and that's one of the ways that I've realized that this works better, is if you let the glue, if you put glue on both sides, the plywood and the tape, and then let it dry a little bit before you put it on, and that eliminates bubbling. And then the problem is, well, what sticks to glue? So here's a piece of glue, and it's been drying for about a day, and it's like plastic. It has the texture of plastic. So what sticks to plastic? And the answer is shellac. Shellac is non-toxic, and the key to shellac is that it sticks to everything, and everything sticks to it. So this is the perfect medium between wood and some exterior waterproof coating. So shellac in itself, if you give it 3 or 4 layers, it's pretty waterproof, but it's not entirely waterproof. So, so then I thought, well, instead of buying really expensive marine grade paint, I've been using this on cabinets. If you go into Benjamin Moore's store and you say, what is the most durable paint that you sell? They will say advanced or advance. It's water-based polyurethane paint. And it's not really recommended for exterior unless you get the super high gloss version. So all this paint is interior until you get to this level of high gloss, and then it's exterior based. So, and I called and I verified, that it works. And so there's some kind of ingredient in here that makes it slightly flexible. But this paint will dry. It takes about a month to fully cure, but there's no VOCs. It won't stink up your shop. You can't even smell it. It's amazing, and it cleans up with water, so it's non-messy. Here's a section right here of a piece of plywood rudder, basically that's been drying for a while, and it's extremely hard surface. You can actually sand this paint after 24 hours or maybe about a day and a half, 2 days. You can actually sand this paint and put like 2 or 3 coats on, and it's very simple, and you don't have to worry about mixing 2 chemicals together and rubber gloves and all this stuff and respirators and throwing away plastic containers and mixing spoons and all that kind of stuff. So it kind of simplifies the process, and that's what I like about it. I don't like over complicating things.